It's just like, man, like, the only thing needs to change is the way that we think, man. If we think differently, man, then things will change, period. The only issue is the way that we think, man. That's the only issue. The way that people think, man. And the only way we can change the way that we think is if we get new information. If we don't have no new information, how we going to think differently, right? We going to think the same way because we operating off of the same bogus information. Once I know different, then I can think differently. If I think differently, then I will do differently, right? Like, it's crazy. I remember I came home, man, and I didn't know about, man, owning a home. I didn't know about that. When I was exposed to this by one of my dudes, he was in the feds. And he came home, and he was home. He did like 7 years. And he was, man, in the process of purchasing his home. He was doing the 24 months that he needed to show for his work history, right, and at his job. And then he went out and he established his credit, and he went out and purchased him a home. I didn't even know that was possible because I came up in an environment where everybody rented, or you was in metropolitan, right? Like, you didn't have people who was owning homes, right? So I didn't know about that like that. My grandmother, she owned her home, but that was the only person that I knew who had actually owned a home. But when I was exposed to that information, changed the game for me. Because I said, wow, you mean to tell me I can buy a home even if I'm working a $13, $15 hour job? You know, I just got to have that work history, right? It's like, so the same thing that I'm going to pay for rent, I can pay in mortgage, and I'll be paying to own it. And then I can sell it and go get a better house, right? And I can get a better house. But the one thing about paying for your mortgage is that you're not throwing the money away. When I'm renting, right, I don't get that back. That's gone. I'm paying for somebody else's mortgage, right? So when I'm renting, I'm paying you a couple of $100 more than your mortgage is worth, and then you taking that money and paying your mortgage and pocketing a couple of extra $100, and then when it's time for me to go, I don't even get back my security deposit more than likely. That stuff doesn't make sense. You know, when I was coming up in the streets, it was like, man, I didn't want to be hustled. And that stuff feels like I'm being hustled. When you telling me that, man, hey, I got the house, I'm going to let you stay here and you pay for my stuff, and then I'm going to kick you out, I'm going to have somebody else stay here now. And I'm going to keep all of the money that you've given me that bought this house. Oh my gosh. That stuff didn't make sense to me. So when I'm paying my rent, it makes me feel a certain type of way. Straight up. So in 2009, I bought my house. I got out in 2007. In 2009, me and my ex-wife, I came home and I met her. We got together. Then I got her pregnant with my second son, right? And then in 2009, before we had got married, we had bought a house together, right? And I'm like, cool. 2015, we separated, got a divorce. I had to leave the house to her. I left her the house. I went and I rented for 4 years. And now, just 2020 is when I bought the house again because I just felt crazy, man, just renting. I felt like I was a sucker. So if I'm a rent to buy. Right? And when I'm talking about I'm a rent to buy, that means that I'm a rent with the mindset of saying I'm getting my stuff together so I can be in a position to buy. I'm not renting to stay renting. My options increase when I buy. This is just reality. I can say, man, you know what? I don't want to stay here no more. I'm going to go ahead and stay over there. But with this house, I'm going to rent it out to somebody. I'm going to rent it out to somebody. I moved in my house in April in 2020. It's already went up about like $10,000, $15,000. The value of the house has went up $10,000 to $15,000. So then that means that's equity. That means that I can pull from that. That means that I can have an idea and I can say, let me go ahead and give me an equity loan on my house and invest that money into my idea to make more money. Oh my God. I'm talking about this is like next level, man. We teach our children how to sit at the table, not how to be on the table. We don't teach our children how to be on the menu as a menu item, as food. We teach our children how to sit at the table. And the thing about it is that ain't nobody gonna sit up here and say, here go a seat for you at the table, because people who are at the table, they are greedy. They trying to stay at the table and keep other people from getting at the table. You gotta say, man, I'm taking my seat. I don't care what y'all talking about. Y'all saying ain't no room for me. I bet you it is. I bet you it is room for me. Because I'm not about to be on no dang on menu. I'm not about to be no food for nobody. Ain't nobody about to eat off of my flesh. You ain't about to make no salary on me and I not benefit. Like people right here, right now is making a salary on you being here. How do you benefit off of you being here? Don't allow people to make a salary off of you without making something out of it. That means that if you are eating, then you are not food, men. The only thing that is food is the people who don't eat. If you eating, brother, then you at the table. Eating says that I'm going to learn. I'm going to get better. I'm going to utilize this situation to be a better individual. And I'm going to do everything that I need to do to get it done. I'm going to get into the right conversations. I'm going to get around the right people. I'm going to read the right books. I'm gonna get in the right programs, right? Everything that's going to help to improve me to be a better individual, I'm going to do while I'm in here. The greatest investment that you can make is in who? Yourself. Ain't nobody else gonna get this done for us. We got to get it done. That's the only way that it's gonna get done. How you think I overcame 10 years in prison? Attempted murder, possession of drugs, drug trafficking, possession of firearms. I overcame that stuff because I redesigned myself. I said that I'm not going to put out that same individual back there into society. I'm gonna put a whole new individual in society and see the results that I get. And putting that new individual out there in society has gotten me some different results, man. I'm just saying, this stuff is good, man. I enjoy this stuff, man. I didn't try to put the same person out there and say, here, let me go ahead and try to get some different results with the same person. That stuff is delusional. It's not going to work. I've seen it. When you do a 10-year prison sentence, what do you see? People go home, come back in. People go home, come back in. And I'm like, brother, it's been 90 days, man. How did you go home, catch a case, get convicted, and come back in that quick? You ain't even on violation, brother. You back in on a new case. Your bed is still open. I thought you was in a hole. I didn't even know you went home. Brother, I thought you was in a hole. I thought you did an LC. I thought you was in the hole. Like, brother, how did you, right? But that's what it is when you don't do the work. Because the systems are set up in place that count on you not doing the work. Because they gonna continue to do the work to keep you in place. Because you are a prophet. You fool, they fool. We can't let the food. So then what happens is they put games and stuff out here for you to be able to, have fun. Watch as much TV as you possibly can. Sleep it off, sleep it away, right? Everything that's going to keep you the same. Because if you stay the same, then you're going to continue to get the same results. But not only are you going to get the same results, this is when it gets tricky. Your children will most likely duplicate your results as well. So then that means that your children will feed their children. That stuff is crazy. That means that their children will grow up and be wardens, their children will grow up and be correctional officers, their children will grow up and be case managers, and your children will grow up and be inmates. Because of your neglect. Like, these are decisions that we have to make. And that's why it's so serious. Why do you think I come out here on Saturday? I say, man, the weekend, man, I'll go ahead and go to bed early to get here on a Saturday. 9 o'clock, it doesn't matter. I come in stuff on holidays, it doesn't matter because it's just that serious. If my brothers don't know, then it's a problem. I want you to have the information. If you have the information and whatever you do after the information, that's on you. My responsibility is to make sure you get the information and get an understanding of the information that I give. So I do everything that I can to drive home an understanding. Now, after you get that understanding and you have the information and you still say, I'm going to continue to do the same exact thing, brother, that's on you. That's what it is. You got everything that you got coming to you. The problem that I have is when brothers really haven't came in contact with the information and they really don't know. That's my greatest issue. So the only reason why they doing what they doing is because they don't know. Fathers don't know. They don't know the rights that they have as a father. And because they don't know, they're not able to be the father that they need to be to their children because they don't know. So now my responsibility is to let fathers know what your rights is, how to get that established so you can get solidified in your children's lives so your situation can be different. That's my responsibility. Now, if you don't take that and go down to the course and file for your shared parenting plans and you do what's necessary, if you don't do what's necessary as far as spending time with your children, that's on you. But I want you to understand how important that you are to your children. Some fathers don't know how important that they are to their children. They think that my kid's gonna be okay. The mom got them. How your children gonna be okay when they don't have the person that they have been assigned to in their life? Because we discussed that children, man, they don't, we as people don't just come here. We are destined to be here. For conception to happen, 1 out of 10 million sperm has to reach that head. That's crazy. Everything has to fall into alignment for you to even be conceived. So the parents that you was conceived to, you were supposed to be conceived to those parents. Your children that were conceived by you, they were supposed to be conceived by you. It is something that you have to offer them so that they can be the person that they were designed to be. Period. It is something that they have to offer to you so you can be the person that you were designed to be. So when you are not involved in your children's lives, not only do they suffer, but also you suffer. Children will pull everything up out you. They will get you to make those sacrifices. They will get you to not just look at yourself and say, man, it's not about me. That's how the whole movement even got started, what starts within. Because my son was 3 months old and I said, I don't want him to be in the situation that I'm in. So then that's when I said that I'm about to do something totally different because I don't want my son to be in the same situation that I'm in. That's what drove me to get into scripture. That's what drove me to get into college. All of that stuff stemmed from me having a desire to be a father to my son. I didn't want my son to get raised off of that same bogus information that I got raised off of in the hood. So I said the only way that that's going to be able to happen is if I become who I want my son to be. I can't show him the way if I don't know the way. So that made me adamant about finding the way. So that come from me and the love that I had for my son.